Okay, good evening, everybody. Chanukah is approaching. I want to speak about a couple of ideas about Chanukah. The first one is about a song that we sing, and I think probably most of us sing it, including myself, without really knowing what it's talking about. In Meoz Tzur, we say the line, B'nei Vino, Yemei Shmono. Yemei Shmono, okay, that's the 8 days of Chanukah. B'nei Vino, the sons of understanding. What are we talking about? Who are these sons of understanding? Another thing, the astrological sign of the month of Kislev is the bow, Sagittarius, the Keshet. Now, not by coincidence, nothing is by coincidence. Moshe Karlbach, I think, once mentioned this, said that the word coincidence in English is really comprises of the word ko, which is the way we say one of Hashem's name, the Yud and the Hey, and incidence. Coincidence. Hashem moving circumstances to result at the proper way that they should do. So just by coincidence, it comes out that there's a minhag, a custom, which doesn't seem to be very prevalent. Maybe you can tell me if you've seen it, but on Lag BaOmer, we also shoot bows and arrows. Here in Eretz Yisrael, the minhag is to make bonfires, but there's also a minhag to shoot bows and arrows.
I might have seen it, maybe.
You've seen them?
Archery.
I've never seen it.
I've done it.
You've done it? On Lag BaOmer. Where do they do it?
At my show.
Where is that?
Every year.
Where?
In San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. Okay, so in San Antonio they have the
They like
the,
weapons.
the minhag. They like weapons. Or could be the police department doesn't allow the fires. I mean, the sort of fires they get up to here is anyway, that's another subject. We're not going to go into that now. But anyway, being as it may, Lag BaOmer, what is Lag BaOmer? The minhag of the bow and arrow got to do with the bow of Sagittarius, of the Keshet, which is to do with the month of Chanukah. So let's start with this first idea. Lag BaOmer is the day of the passing, according to many Meforshim, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was the author of the Zohar, a mystical work, and on the day that he left this world, he revealed many of the hidden secrets of the Torah. He revealed the hidden light. The hidden light is also hidden in the lights of the Chanukah, Chanukah, the menorah. There's a mystical concept that before the creation of the sun and the moon, there was a light called the Ora HaGanuz, the hidden light, which shone for 36 hours at the beginning of the creation. Clearly, when it says, Yehi Or, let there be light at the beginning of the Torah, Vayhi Or, and there was light, that can't be with the sun and the moon, because we know that the earth, the heavenly bodies weren't created till the third day. There was 36 hours of the Ora HaGanuz, this supernal light, and this light was like no other light that has ever been seen. It wasn't just powerful in terms of it being extremely bright, but it revealed, it says that the light shone from one side of the world to the other. And as I said before, it doesn't mean that it's powerful physically. What it means when it says that it shone from one side of the world to the other, it meant you could see the connection between cause and effect. Light reveals. The hidden light revealed the connection. Very often in our lives, we see things happening and we don't know why. Often, most of the time, the cause of things is hidden from us. This is a world of hiddenness, a world of Hester Panim, the hiding of the face of Hashem. The word itself for world, Olam, is connected to the three-letter root Alam, Ne'elam, which means vanished or hidden. This is a world of hiddenness, of darkness. But into this world of darkness, Choshech al Pnei Sahom, and darkness on the face of the deep, there came a light which revealed everything. And that light shone for 36 hours. Now, if you make a calculation, who's good at math here? If you make a calculation, and we'll leave out now the shamas, the light that we light together with the mitzvah light of the Ner mitzvah. So on the first night of Chanukah, you light one candle. On the second night of Chanukah, you light two candles. So we've got how many candles now altogether? We've, elapsed 3 candles. And how many candles then will we have lit altogether, for the mathematicians amongst you, by the time we get to the 8th night? 36. The 36 candles of Chanukah represent the 36 hours of the Or HaGanuz. When we look into the light of the Chanukiah, we are seeing on whatever level we can understand it, the Or HaGanuz. And this is why, maybe we'll come to this later, B'ezrat Hashem, why it's forbidden to use the lights. Ein rashus lehishtamesh behem. We have no permission to use them because they are truly something very elevated. Ein rashus lahem lehishtamesh them ella lirosam bilvad. Only to see them. Now, if you think about it, and I'll come back to this, I want you to just think about it. The second part of that phrase is redundant. Ein reshus lehishtamesh behem. We don't have any reshus, we don't have the permission, no right to use them. So then what else is there to do except ella lirosam bilvad? So what is the nusach of the tefillah telling us that we couldn't have extrapolated, we couldn't have been medayek from the first part of that phrase? As we said before, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai revealed the hidden secrets of the Torah. And he revealed that on Lag BaOmer, and as we said, Lag BaOmer is connected to the bow, the minhag of the bow and arrow. The revelation of the hidden light of the Torah is like the revelation of the colors of a rainbow. All the colors of the rainbow, the primary colors anyway, add up to white light. If you analyze, if you show the spectrum of everything that's contained in white light, that is, so to speak, the secrets of the light. The hidden secrets of the light of the Torah, Torah Or. The Torah is always called the light. That spectrum, that revelation of the individual things that comprise that white light are the secrets of the light. And he revealed the secrets of the Torah, which is the keshet. Keshet, as well as being a bow and arrow, is a rainbow in Hebrew. A rainbow reveals the anatomy of white light. White light seems indivisible. You can't discern any detail in its pure whiteness. The rainbow, however, reveals the secret of the white light. It shows us how really that white light is composed of all these colors, the secrets of the white. Rabbi Shimon told his son, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told his son Rabbi Loza, my son, do not expect the coming of Mashiach until you see the self-illuminated rainbow. Just as there was a Or HaGanuz at the beginning of time, there will be a rainbow when Mashiach comes, which will reveal all the colors of the light. And just as the coming of Mashiach is compared to the revelation of the Or HaGanuz, so Chanukah too, as we said, is a symbol of the revelation of the Or HaGanuz, the hidden Torah, the mystical side of the Torah. And this is the connection between the bow, the sign of the month of Kislev in which Chanukah falls, the rainbow, and that's revealed on Chanukah, and the rainbow which reveals the hidden colors within it. Now, of all the sons of Yaakov Avinu, the ones who are most closely associated with Torah, the one who is most closely, is Yisachar. Now, interestingly enough, Yisachar was born on Shavuos, which is, as we said, when the Torah was given. Torah Shebiksav. Torah Shebiksav, if you think about it, the relationship between the written Torah and the oral Torah. They say the Vilna Gaon towards the end of his life, he only learned Chumash. And when he learned Chumash, he was able, because he knew all the Torah completely, that just by learning Chumash, he was able to learn all of the Torah. All of the Torah, all the oral Torah, all the hidden Torah, everything is in the Chumash. But you have to have the eyes to see it. If one would take an analogy to explain this relationship, one would say maybe that, and this is why I find it it's interesting how people take the written Torah and without really being able to understand it, and I don't know the word's interesting maybe, people take the Torah out of context. For Christians, other religions take the Torah and they have no idea what it's saying. They have no idea what it's saying. It's the same idea as, for example, if you picked up the notes of somebody who was at a very deep lecture. You wouldn't understand the notes. You might understand things here and there, but you'd make lots of mistakes because notes are notes. They're not the full thing. The Torah Shebal Peh, the oral Torah, is the lecture. And the Chumash, the Torah B'Ksav, are the notes. If you were at the lecture, you would understand the notes. The Vilna Gaon learned all of the Torah, all the oral Torah, everything, and therefore, so to speak, the Torah, so to speak, the written Torah, he could see everything in it, everything, all the allusions, all the connections. Now, as we said, Yisachar is connected to Torah study, and Yisachar was born on Shavuos. Now, without being too much of a mathematician, a baby's typical conception is 9 months. If you go 9 months back from Shavuos, where do you get to? 9 months back. 9 months back from Shavuos. Chanukah. Meaning, Yisachar, although he was born on Shavuos, he was conceived on Chanukah. The conception of life is the beginning of the life. It's the hidden part of the life. There's the life there, but the life is hidden. And the birth is the revelation of the life. Just as Chanukah represents the hidden Torah, and Har Sinai, Shavuos, represents the revealed Torah, the Torah that was revealed to Klal Yisrael. So that is connection between Chanukah and Shavuos, between Yisachar, the tribe who learned the Torah, whose conception, the secrets of the Torah were, so to speak, placed within him, and he comes to fruition, he becomes a life, a real life in this world on Shavuos. And that's why the children of understanding, the B'nai Vina that we sing about in Meoz Tzur, are the children who inherited this connection. The connection, B'nai Vina, those who understood this connection of the times, of these two times, of Chanukah Shavuos. They are the B'nai Yisachar, the children of Yisachar, who symbolize the connection between the hidden and the revealed Torah, the Torah of Chanukah and the Torah of Shavuos. As it says in Divrei Yomim, Book of Chronicles, number 1, Perek Yud Beis, Posuk Lamed Beis, Uvnei Yisachar Yodea Bina Leitim. The children of Yisachar are the knowers of the understanding of the times, of the connection of these two times. So next time you sing, when we're going to sing in Mitzvah Hashem in a couple of weeks, B'nai Vina Yemei Shmona, at least you have a little bit more understanding of the depth behind those two words. We talked about the holy light that shines in the menorah. And we said we're not allowed to use those lights. And I pointed out to you that if you think about it, Ein reshus lanu lehishtamesh behem, we're not allowed to have any use from them, implies clearly that what are we supposed to do then? We're supposed to lirosam bilvad, to look at them. I want to go a little bit deeper into this idea of light. Light has two aspects to it. Light has the ability to illuminate, and so to speak, illumination is a reflection of the light. The light shows us the world. Light reveals, but it's a second-hand light. It's not the light itself. It's the reflection of the light. And of course then there's the source of the light itself. When we look at the reflection of the light as the world is revealed in material terms, we're really looking at the light second-hand. We're seeing its effect. We're not seeing the cause. There are two words in Hebrew which are spelled identically, and they are pronounced differently, and obviously they have to have a connection. And the word is Reish Yud Aleph Hey, which can be pronounced as Riyah or Raya. Riyah means sight, Raya means proof. What is the connection between Riyah and Raya? I'll come back to it in a second. Raya is the reflection of the light. Raya is the proof. Riyah is to see the source, to see the thing itself. On Chanukah, we are supposed to look into the source of the light, to see the source. It says in Tehillim, Ki imcha makor chayim ba'orcha nira'o. Tehillim. Ki imcha makor chayim. We say about Hashem. Tehillim, this is Lamed Vav, Pasuk Yud 10. Ki imcha makor chayim. With you, Hashem, is the source of life. Ba'orcha nira'o. In your light, we will see light. We see the light of Hashem by looking into the light. Ba'orcha, in the light we see. In Hashem's light, looking directly into the light. That's how the Jew perceives the light. The source of life, ki imcha, with you is the source of life. Ba'orcha nir'o. We see life, we understand life, we see the light by looking into the light, not looking into the reflection. We use the power of Riyah and not Raya. Why am I bringing this up? Because the exile of Greece, in which Chanukah celebrates the freedom from, was a very strange exile. It was the only exile, and we've spoken in previous meetings about the 4 exiles. The exile of Greece was an exile where the Jewish people never left Eretz Yisrael. So what does it mean it's an exile? In one sense, it's an exile of the light. It was an exile where rather than the body was taken into captivity, the soul was taken into captivity. As we saw the Pasuk in the Medrash, brought to represent Greece. We remember it says, Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'haaretz. V'haaretz are you so is Babylon, vo is Persia, Parsa Madai. V'choshech, and darkness al panei sahom, on the face of the deep. Choshech is the third of the exiles, the exile of Greece, the exile of Chanukah. The exile where we never left Eretz Yisrael. Choshech. When a person is in darkness, he's in exile even if he's at home. Why is it called? Because why? Ki choshech al panei sahom, ki hichishu es eineihem Yisrael b'gzeirosehem. That they darkened the eyes of the Jews with their decrees. The vast majority of Jews, one has to remember this, were assimilated at the time of Chanukah. There were very few Torah true Jews. And we celebrate the Maccabim, Chashmonaim, very, very few. Almost everybody had gone over to becoming a Hellenist, to being basically a Greek, to the extent that they reversed the physical signs of Brit Milah in order to compete in the naked, in the games, in the Colosseum. It's difficult for us to remember, and we talk about the frightening assimilation that we exist in today. Rav Hutner Zatzal once said that we are now in every, as we said, we're going to see this maybe when we talk about the secret of the dreidel next week. But Rome, with the exile we're in now, we spoke last week about the Medrash, the famous Medrash of the angel of Rome rising up the ladder, Jacob's ladder, Sulam Yaakov. And it goes up and up and up and up. It doesn't seem to be coming down. This longest of the exiles, the first exile of Babylon was 70 years, Porus Made was 52, Greece was 180. We're still in this exile, thousands of years, nearly 2,000 years. So in this last exile of Rome, there's contained all elements of the other exiles. Rav Hutner Zatzal said that we are now in the Tekufa, in the period of the Greece, of the Yovan Shebaromi, the Greek part of the Roman exile. And we see this with frightening clarity, how so many of the people we know are basically so far, far, far from Judaism. But it's interesting. Of all the holidays, I would suggest, Shavuos goes very fast. Sukkot goes pretty fast too. Shabbos, I don't want to say anything. What are the two festivals that seem to be left at the end of the day? Chanukah, Pesach. I would say Pesach. Maybe Purim as well. But Chanukah, maybe the reason is, it could be because it's, okay, I'm going to be cynical now, but it's not that difficult to, But mind you, Pesach's not that easy. I remember my mother, she should be well, even though we didn't have a frum home, but she used to change over her crockery every year. Chanukah is pretty, if you think about it, pretty easy to keep. It doesn't require a lot of... but I think apart from the more prosaic or maybe cynical aspect of it, because Chanukah really represents something called the Pintele Yid, the Jewish spark. Chazal teaches that inside every Jew there's a little Pintele Yid, a little candle that goes on burning and burning and burning and never goes out. And I think even the most Hellenized, estranged Jew at this time of the year feels that pull to light those lights, to look into those lights without even realizing what he's looking at. Ki mocho makor chaim, because you are the fountain of life, the source of life. Ba'orcha nira or, in your light we see light. To the ancient Greeks, what is beyond the mind of man does not exist. Yovan, Greece, was an offspring of Yefet, one of the three sons of Noach. Shem, Cham, Yefet. Cham is the worldview, as we said before, of Hirsch says that the world consists of what I can feel. If I can feel it, it's real to me. More than that, I'm not sure. Cham, it's hot. Touch, feeling. The highest level is the level of shame. Shame means name. Name is the expression of the internal world to the outside. What something's name is represents its essence. Lashon HaKodesh is called Lashon HaKodesh because it reveals the pnimius. In English, the word hammer has got nothing to do with the object. But in Lashon HaKodesh, every single word represents some pneumistic idea, some internal idea. In the middle there's Yofis. In other words, Shem says the world is more that you can see. But Yofis in the middle, Yofis, which is the Greek idea of the world, is that is aesthetics. It's the surface. If I can see it, it exists. Anything I can't put under a microscope, by definition, doesn't exist. I'm not allowing the possibility. Greece was a world of raya. Greece was a world of reflection of the light. Greece failed to be able to look into the makor hachayim, into the ba'or chanira'or. In your light we see light. All they saw was a world of reflection. They didn't understand. That's why time after time, they would challenge. The Greek Chachmei HaYavan would challenge the Chachmei HaTorah. Show us some proof that keeping Shabbos changes a person in some way. Where's the proof? How does putting tefillin on? Show me how tefillin alters somebody. And of course, Chazal couldn't do that. Not because they couldn't, because the Greeks had things the wrong way around. The Torah is not the result, it is the Makor Chaim. The Torah is the source. It's not the reflection, it's the source. If you want to prove the efficacy of an antibiotic, you could go into a laboratory, take a blood sample and analyze it empirically. You could evaluate how many white blood cells there were, how many red. Finite measurements lead to empirical conclusions. There is no, however, empirical measurement for a mitzvah. The Torah is lacking in empirical proofs because it is not a description of a world that already exists. It is not a reflection. It is the source of what is to be. Just as the light is the source of what will be. It depicts an existence which has not yet happened, which is not yet here. It's talking about an olam haba, whereas we've spoken about in previous weeks. All of these things will be revealed. It's the source, not the outcome. It's the light, not the reflection. The Torah doesn't conform to Greek thought. It doesn't observe the world. It's the source of the world. It's not a reflection of the light. It's the light itself. Maybe we'll talk maybe one other aspect of Chanukah, which is the idea of art. Art for art's sake. If you think about it, why artists tend to be the most selfish people in the world? Right? I mean, the petulant behavior of rock and roll stars is like legion. I mean, if somebody doesn't behave like an absolute, you question his talent as an artist. We've all got this picture of a solitary painter locked in his garret, creating his masterpieces with yesterday's lunch and the day before's lunch, and all piled up, the meals piled up because he's so involved. That's a well-worn cliche. Bad temper and tantrums are not only tolerated, as I said, but they may be a yardstick of talent. The maestro throwing down his baton and walking off the rehearsal stage after reducing the 15-year-old Korean first violinist to tears is a predictable scene in the life of many a symphony orchestra. Behaving like a prima donna, which is Italian for literally the first lady of the opera, has found its way into the vernacular, right? Just meant the first, like the lead singer. But what does a prima donna mean? I mean, probably more people understand the word prima donna for its borrowed usage than its original usage. It means somebody who is behaving like a spoiled brat. Why are artists so unbearably selfish? And why do we let them get away with it? Why do we give their behavior our tacit approval? Could be because, everybody would like to be able to try and get away with that kind of stuff, but just doesn't have the, knows he can't swing it. But I think there's something else. An artist thinks he's God in a very specific way. An artist starts off with a blank piece of paper and he creates a universe. Being an artist, if you think about it, is the closest thing there is to yesh me'ayin, creation ex nihilo, creation from nothing. The universe of the artist is entirely at the whim of its creator. He can draw, he can erase, he can form, he can fold, he can create worlds, he can destroy them. The sky could be blue or grey, the next note in this particular piece of music could go up or it could go down. Who says it has to be that way? Me, the artist. Now, if there's one nation in the world that symbolizes art with a capital A, it's ancient Greece. And the ancient Greeks, quite literally, wrote the book on aesthetics, poetics, dramatics, these are all Greek words, and several other artistic disciplines. Why was it that the Greeks epitomize art more than any other nation who's ever existed? So, the wellspring of art that is Greece, thanks very much for the water, I really appreciate it. It doesn't come from their geographical location. It doesn't come from their demographic makeup. It comes from, like everything in existence, from a posuk in the Torah. Yaft Elokim liyofis, vayishkon ba'olei shem. May Hashem extend Yaft Elokim liyofis. Yaft, Yafet, Yafeh, beauty. Beauty was given to Yafet. As we said, Yafet was the progenitor of Yavan, who is Greece. Yaft Elokim liyofis, vayishkoin, and he will dwell in the Oale Shem, in the tents of Shem. Who is Shem? Shem is the Jewish people. As we said before, Shem, name. Name is the ability to intuit the inside of something. The name of something is the representation of its internality to the outside world. There's a famous medrash that says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought all the animals in front of Adam Rishon and asked Adam to give them names. And Adam, intuiting their internality, gave each one a name. And at the end of this medrash, a fascinating thing happens. Hashem says to Adam Rishon, "And what is my name?" And Adam Rishon says, "Your name is Yud Kei Vov Kei."
Wow.
Shem has the ability, as much as is possible, for any human being to intuit the inside and to be express it. That's Shem. Shem understands the insides of things. So, Yafta Lekim Liofis, Hashem gave beauty to Yofis. Yafeh. On a condition, Vayishkon Ba'alei Shem, provided that beauty is used in the service of Shem, in the service of internality, in the service of truth. Which, if you think about it, means, renders the phrase art for art's sake totally redundant. There is no such thing as art for art's sake. Because Yofis, Yafta Lekim the Yofis, Vayishkon, he's got to dwell. That beauty has a place in the world. Beauty is essential. But beauty has a place in the order of creation. And that is to faithfully be, to dwell in the tents of Shem, to live in the world of to express the internal world. Yavan, as we said, was Yafet's fourth son. Yavan in Hebrew is the name for Greece. Now, we're really going a little bit ahead in time, but I just want to bring this point out. There are several key events that epitomize the relationship between Jerusalem and Athens, between Shem and Yafet, that take place in the months of Kislev and Tevet. Of course, Chanukah, which starts on the 25th of Kislev. By the way, it's another thing going back to 36. If you count the number of days between the beginning of Chanukah and the end of Teves, it's also 36. Chanukah is the only festival that spans 2 months, a month of light and a month of darkness. And the light of Chanukah is supposed to, and that's why it always bothered me, it always interested me that the Maisa Mitzvah of Chanukah, the action, the mitzvah we actually do, the lighting of the menorah, when you get to the 8th day of Chanukah, it all happened last night. Apart from Hallel, apart from the davening, the 8th day of Chanukah, there's nothing, you don't see anything. But you do see something. Because that light, the Or HaGanuz, which you lit in that 36th candle, has the power to spread throughout the whole 36 days to the end of Tevet. The months are divided conceptually in months which are the months of Yaakov and the months of Esav. Kislev is a month of Yaakov, and Tevet is a month of Esav. And so that light spreads to the end of the month. But there are several key events. They started, we said, with Chanukah. And then, a few days later, really, if you think about it, after Chanukah finishes, we reveal another tragic side to the symbiotic relationship between Athens and Yerushalayim. And that is when King Ptolemy took 70 Torah sages and he locked them into separate cubicles, batim, and he ordered each of them to translate the Torah into Greek. And the Torah says that the Chazal teaches that 3 days of light, 3 days of darkness went out to the world because the lion that had been formerly roaming free was put into a cage. He put us in his cage, in his box. Now, we'll talk about this much more nearer the time. The Torah, which is the blueprint of existence, was caged into a foreign tongue. As we know, we've had the privilege to learn Chumash in the Lashon HaKodesh, and we know the shapes of the letters, the addition of letters, the omission of letters, the repetition of words, everything are like trapdoors to lead us to hidden meanings and meanings of meanings of meanings. That is all lost when it's translated into another language. The lion that had formerly been roaming free was locked into a cage. The blueprint of all existence was locked up in a foreign tongue. It became just another book on the shelf. Now the nations of the world could come and say, oh yeah, we know your Torah, the great book, the Torah. We've got it on our shelves there in the New Age section next to the Plato and the Bhagavad Gita. It's over there in the philosophy stroke, religion stroke, New Age section. Fine, yeah, no problem. We'll get it for you, get it down for you. Might have to dust it off a bit. What was the symbolism of Ptolemy, the Greek king, Seleucid Greek, Ptolemy, putting the sages into separate cubicles? I would like to suggest that the cubicle, a bayit, a room, Yaftalukim v'yofes, Hashem granted beauty to Yofes on the condition Vayishkon bo'olei shame, provided he'll dwell in the tents of shame. Ptolemy was saying, I'm not going to dwell in your tent. You're going to come and dwell in my tent. That, I believe, may be the understanding of the symbolism. The reversal of what the Torah says is the correct role, where art is the handmaiden, is the servant of truth, of emes. And it becomes now, if you think about it, the great flowering of religious art and religious music. Bach, Donatello, Michelangelo, all of these people, basically, they took the emes and they used it just as subject matter, as material for their art. Essence was made to serve form. The internal was made to serve the external. The world was turned upside down. And in the same way, the Greek view of the world, God is not the center of the world. As far as the Greek is concerned, there are plenty of gods, but there's only one man. Man is the center of the world. Man's intellect, man's ability to perceive God defines God, says the Greek. I'm going to put you in my tent. Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, the descendants of Shem, proclaim to the world that the man of mind does not contain or restrain Hashem. Hashem does not sit in the tent of man. Beauty. Yafta lekim liofis. There's a pasuk in Eov that says that, I don't have it here, uses the word b'shifra. I can't remember it. All right, it's all right. I don't think I can even find it so quickly. Maybe we'll look it up afterwards. But let me say it in English, because the word I really need is only one word, which is the word. The pasuk basically says in English, I don't remember the Hebrew, the original. It says that Hashem blows aside the clouds to reveal, and the word it uses to blow aside, to reveal, is the word shifra. Now, shifra is a girl's name in Hebrew. The shaper means to beautify. In other words, the Jewish idea of beauty is that which reveals pnim. The blowing aside of the cloud, so to speak, reveals what's beyond. Beauty cannot be skin deep according to the Jewish way of thinking, because Jewish idea of beauty is that which reveals panim. The word in Hebrew for a face is panim. Panim is the same as panim. The beauty of the face. Why is the face the most beautiful part of the human being? And the most identifiable, the most unique part of a human being. Many hands look the same, many feet look the same. But a face is a face is a face. Because a face is unique because it reflects the pnim. And that is the true beauty of a person, is because it reveals pnim. The word in Hebrew for ugly is me'uchar. Mecho'ah, excuse me. Mecho'ah is connected to the word which means opaque, achor, dark. Something which is mecho'ah, something which is ugly, is that which conceals the pnim. Even if the surface may look beauty, but if it conceals, it is in Jewish thought ugly. Okay, I see we've run out of time here. Me'ez Hashem will carry on next week with our discussion about Chanukah. Any questions? I want to see if I can find this pasuk here.
What was the you mentioned how that this exile contains like the other three exiles, and then you said like we're in the Yavin part.
This is what Rav Hutner said. He said it 20, 30 years ago, so more than that, 40 or 50 years ago.
So I'm just wondering what was the Persia and Madai and Babylon part?
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, listening.
You said that the Ra'aha was the source of the light, and the
The word ria is sight, and raya is proof. The Greeks live in a word of proof. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. Proof is to do with reflections. Ria is to do with sight. When you we look into the light itself. The light is the source. The light is showing you the future of something. The Torah predicts what will be. It's not describing what is. Okay, I'll have to look this up. I don't remember where it is. I apologize. Okay. Maybe next week. Gentlemen, all the best.